Boom! Yes, folks, Hume again. So in this video, we're going to continue with our series where we look at some of the hard questions, right? Questions that people might send to me or questions that I would see in the course of my own dealings with my students and whatnot. So, in this question, we're looking at number 7B in the June 2019 CSEC Maths past paper. Alright? So we're going straight to the question. The first 8 terms of another sequence. This is continuing from part A. So we have a totally different sequence now. Another sequence with nth term un are. And they give you the sequence 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21 as listed out here on the board. Now I just want to make a little notation here. This notation as given in section 7B is more akin to what you would find in Cape Pure Maths, believe it or not. This is not even Add Maths, right? Add Maths generally doesn't tend to use the UN notation when we're talking about series. You will get that more commonly in the Cape Pure Maths, I think is unit 2 with the series topic. Good? Even the notation in 7B, right? That is even more akin to Cape Pure Maths than it is to Add Maths. Right? You may see it in an Add Maths past paper, but you will see it much more frequently at the level of Cape. Right? So when you're talking about things like induction and things, yeah, you'll definitely get that in this kind of notation in your Cape. Right? So I'm saying that to make a particular point. Point being, a lot of fuss was made last year where you had people saying, well, they bring Add Maths in A Maths and number 7 was hard because it was an Add Maths question. Well, it could just as even be said, it could just be said also that it was a Cape question. We could say that too. Right? But if you look at the question carefully and you take your time and go through the question, you'll realize that the question is actually much more doable than you would believe. Right? And with specific reference to the number 7 question in this syllabus, which would have been your number 8 pre-2018, before 2018, we know by now that the last question in section 1 is always a tricky question in terms of it is different to what you would have gotten on your regular syllabus. It's a kind of, I wouldn't call it a trick question, but it's a question where you had to think on the spot. Right? And that question is more about going through your thought process than it is about demonstrated mathematical knowledge. Alright? So what you find sometimes is that some students, strangely enough, they may not be able to do a tricks question. They mightn't be too hot with the areas and volumes. Equation of a straight line, nah. But the last question in section 1, yeah. Because that is a question now where people have the opportunity now to really go in original, to really just go in without necessarily having any reference to any particular formula or working or something that you would have done before. You go in totally original, just with your pure observation, and you work out the question. So that is a specific skill. On the other hand, you have students who might be very good running through everything else where they would have had the opportunity of practice, they would have had the opportunity of past papers, right? But then you come on a question like this where it's out of the blue, so to speak, and you have to be original, and you find that some of the students like that might be faltering and stuttering and stammering. Good? So we have here in section 1 of the CSEC syllabus two different skills. The last question in section 1 is a different kind of question. So you have to bear that in mind when you're preparing. Don't expect that question to be your run-of-the-mill maths question. Generally speaking, there will be a twist and a turn and a kink somewhere in there, right, where you have to bring your thought process to the game more than anything else. All right, so with that in mind, let us go through this. So apart from just giving you the sequence, right, credit to the people who put this question, they went to great lengths to illustrate what it is they're talking about. So they said that u1 is equal to 1, u1 as in the first term, and u2 is also equal to 1. Right? So your first term is 1 and the second term is 1 as denoted by this notation here. And then we go general to say that un is equal to un minus 1 plus un minus 2. And then they went even further to illustrate this by the use of two examples. Excuse. So u5, if n is equal to 5 here, then n minus 1 here will be u4 plus un minus 2. This will be u5 minus 2 is still 3. Right? And then they went further now and they said that u7 therefore is u6. 7 minus 1 is still 6 plus u5. 7 minus 2 is 5. And they give a particular condition here for n greater than or equal to 3. Right? We don't need to talk too much about this now. There will be other questions where we'll have to go into more detail about these kinds of conditions. But for now, we could ignore that. Right. So in other words, it is just about recognizing a pattern. Right? And a lot of mathematics is about the simple recognition of patterns. Right? As I tell my students all the time, the first law of the mathematical jungle is observation. You observe, you look, you read, you pay attention, you listen. And that is a skill that you have to employ before you start to get into the specifics of any kind of mathematics, addition and subtraction and factorization and expansion and inequalities. Before you do that, you have to simply look and observe. You have to pay attention. You have to concentrate. You have to be mindful. And that is where a lot of people fall. So if you stumble at the first hurdle, the hurdle of simply paying attention, the hurdle of simply being mindful, then you increase your chances of having problems later on. So I want to make a special appeal, especially to my younger generation, the 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21-year-olds going up the road. The generation that will die if the phone come off for 5 minutes. Right? You have to practice mindfulness. You have to practice concentration. You have to practice being present. That is one of the most important skills you could develop if you really want to do this maths. Right? And as you get older, you realize that it is a very important skill to employ in anything that you're doing. Right? So think about it. It might mean taking your phone off. Right? A simple thing like that to really fully focus on what you're doing. In the practicing phase, when you're doing your past papers and when you're doing your homework and when you're looking at videos and whatever, so that by the time you get to an exam like this, it is something that you're accustomed doing. Alright? So let me continue. So part 1. Write down the next two terms of the sequence. That is U9 and U10. Well, okay, let me finish. So they give you U5, they give you U7. They ask for U9 and they ask for U10. Well, here what? If UN is UN minus 1 plus UN minus 2, then U9 would be U8 plus U7. Alright? N minus 1, N minus 2. U8 is 21 and U7 is 13. So that is 34. And similarly for U10. U10 will be equal to U8 plus, sorry, U9 n minus 1 plus U8 n minus 2. U9 we just work out here as 34. So that'll be 34 here. And U8 is the same 21 from above there. So 34 plus 21 will be equal to 55. So U9 is 34 and U10 is 55. And that this here is 2 marks. And the very last part, which term in this sequence is the sum of U18 and U19? I mean, 1 mark, right? So in other words, you're doing a question like this. Again, observation. You see 1 mark. So tell yourself they're not expecting an essay in response. Right? It might simply be something very, very simple. Very, very simple. If you have a question for a mark, chances are it's something straightforward. No, it's a long hullabaloo. And look how simple it is. U18 and U19. Now the trick with this is that they put the 18 in front of the 19. Right? If they had put U19 plus U18, then click, you'd have realized one time, well, okay, 19, 18, then this is probably 20 here, right? But they put the 18 in front. So that's a little trick that they slip in to see if you're thinking. All right? So U18 plus U19, U19 plus U18. So if we treat U19 as n minus 1 and U18 as n minus 2, well, that would be equal to U20. So in other words, the sum of U18 and U19 based on this pattern here, right, is equal to U20. So let's write it out here just for clarification. U20 will be equal to U19 plus U18. Alright? So this, I mean, it was a, this is what I like to call a nice question. A nice question. Alright? My students just get afraid when I start talking about nice questions, you know. Because the nice questions has to be nice. Alright? It means that it's a little challenge, it's not the regular run-of-the-mill thing. Good? You had to think a little bit, you had to put a little effort. And sometimes even the most experienced practitioners get a lot of problems, right? I myself, sometimes in the course of working out these CSEC past paper questions, there are certain questions that, whoo, yeah boy, sometimes you have to leave it, put it down and come back again. Sometimes you might have to ask somebody else to show you. And I have absolutely no problem admitting that, right? Some of the questions, yeah, is tricky. But then sometimes, I as a teacher will be working on the question and it's stick, and then one of my students will just pick it up one time, whoop, whoop, whoop. And then I'll look at it and say, oh yeah, that is the answer. Right? So, as a student, don't be intimidated even if your teacher is stumbling a little bit. You never know. Sometimes you might pick it up faster. Right? And teachers, if your students pick up something before you, don't discourage them. Nah. Right? That is not how the thing is supposed to be done. Alright? So that's basically it. 7B, June 2019. Right? And as always, if you or anybody you know have a hard question that you might want me to go through, send it by WhatsApp 293-5712, or you could send it via inbox on the Facebook page, Hume Maths on Facebook. Alright, so that's it. So keep in touch, stay in tune. More videos coming your way. Boom!